Oh, let me change this around. Hey, good evening, folks. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you happen to be joining us from. Really appreciate your coming along for the ride. So I'm Tracy VE3TWM. My YouTube channel, Outdoors on the Air. We got Chris Kilo 2 Charlie Juliet Bravo of the YouTube channel Kilo 2 Charlie Juliet Bravo Radio, and Tim N9SAB, the N9SAP antenna store on eBay and Etsy. Am I right, Tim?
That's correct.
Yeah. Any other platforms that your stuff is on?
Well, there's a website. It's hamradioantennas.net.
Okay.
But that's linked back to the Etsy site. So you can go there too, but it'll take you. It'll get processed through Etsy.
Oh, fantastic! All right.
Next year there'll be like a real thing. I mean, I've bought probably a dozen different domains, and I'm waiting for somebody to help me sort this out, because I don't do websites and domains. I make antennas. Okay. I need someone to do that.
Right.
So,
okay, fair enough. Hey, listen, we got some comments in already. So let's go and see. John, hey, VE5JHN, hello and welcome and seasoned greetings to everybody, of course. Really nice to have you along. And who could this be but Trouble? Electromagnetic Mischief. Hey, Philip, nice to have you on board tonight. And we got Scout 75. Hey, Scout, always great to have you here. Philip is wishing us all a happy winter solstice.
With bells on.
Days are going to start getting longer.
With jingle bells on.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're competing right now, well, I don't know if you can call it really competing, but there's also, Mike, N2MAK, is on with Coffee and Ham Radios at the moment too.
Okay, all right.
So we're kind of simulcasting.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Is this their regular time slot?
No, they elbowed their way in.
Oh, okay. That's fine. It's like, what the heck? At the end of the day,
we'll get the Dominic and Vito to go talk to them.
I know a Luigi and a Bruno. They're pretty good too.
I live in Chicago. I know lots of people.
Yeah, I bet.
That's right.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, we've got HO6Y5 Productions.
Nice.
Hey, hello from Montego Bay. Well, I got to be honest. I'd rather be in Montego Bay.
Got that right.
I was in Montego Bay once.
Come on, seriously?
Yeah. I went there. I went there on a vacation with my parents when I was a kid. We stayed at the Holiday Inn Montego Bay.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I'll have to see what bands I've got Jamaica on 6Y5. I know I've worked it, but I don't know if I've got it on multiple bands.
Beautiful place.
Oh,
Beautiful
yeah.
place.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we got Kevin. Hey, Kevin, greetings. Merry Christmas to you. Nice to have you on board. Hope everything's going well out your way. All right.
I don't know how it is in Iowa, but it's actually gotten a little warm here. We're having one of those La Nina winters so far, which I'm not going to complain.
Oh, there's no snow here. It's positive, above freezing.
Yeah, it's 40-something degrees.
Yeah.
So all that outdoor antenna work that I was putting off all summer, I can actually go do now.
And that's a really interesting thing. We kind of skipped over that this fall, but a big part of the ham radio operator's calendar is that fall antenna work.
Mm-hmm.
Getting out there before the winter sets in, and having a plan, and then going and figuring out your fall antennas. Next year we'll have to dedicate some time to that whole topic, because I know I did some. Did you do any, Chris?
Yeah, well, I put up that fan dipole that I made, and from once the leaves are out of the way, it's a lot easier to get things in the trees. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Those leaves. Wait, what did the golfers say? Hey, don't worry about the tree. It's 90% air. Have you ever tried to shoot a golf ball in a tree?
They haven't met my ornamental crabapple tree that I have in the back. It eats antennas and lines and all kinds of stuff for breakfast. It's kind of like the whomping willow in Harry Potter. We had one of those winters where it snowed early and all the leaves hadn't fallen yet. So the snow load on the tree was just immense. And the thing falls over like, right? But my mom planted that tree years ago. So what I did was I got a couple of turnbuckles and some cable, and got the Jeep. I drove the Jeep into my neighbor's yard, his driveway over there, and like hauled the thing back upright, right? And then installed the cable and the turnbuckles and I put a post underneath, because it grows like this, right? This tree, kind of thing. So there's like a 4x6 or 6x6, one of those pillars, wooden posts, right underneath it like that. But it's thorny. So every time I throw a line in there and it goes over, it snag, damn thing.
Yeah. Hey, listen, speaking of, a truck and towing trees and things, if you get a chance, go onto YouTube and search for an Australian Toyota video from the 90s, where there's an Australian farmer and he's got his pickup truck and he's trying to straighten a fence post out on his ranch. It is hysterical. All right. Hey, listen, I just wanted to make a point about Kevin here. So look at this, Iowa, right? It's been a great mild winter so far. Haven't shoveled once yet. Well, that begs the obvious question. Kevin, what are you using for an antenna?
Using a corn silo last time I saw him.
Hey, you can't use a shovel, though. It's like okay. Tough crowd.
So who wanted to? Yeah. So fermenting those apples. Well, it's ornamental, right? So I don't get the chance. But if you're going to make a ferment from apples at Costco every fall, they have this apple cider that is absolutely perfect for that. I don't know where it comes from, but you can buy it. So I buy 50 gallons of apple cider. Nice. No preservatives, no sorbates, nothing in there. Ferment that.
Yeah.
Then I pee on the tree when I gotta go.
So I have learned to be extremely wary of fruit trees in the fall, as the bees love to get drunk and get extremely aggressive. So I steer far away from those things. All right, what do we got here? Okay, I think it's time to get into it a little bit. So it is the season, and I'm going to ask you to just, indulge with us a little bit. We have in our midst here Chris, who is a pastor for a church where he lives. And that's the reason you moved to Connecticut, isn't it?
Exactly. Yep. One of the reasons. Not to mention my 4.5-year-old grandson now lives 40 minutes away instead of 4 hours away.
Well, that's a big thing.
Well, move from where? I didn't know that.
We used to live in Yardley, Pennsylvania, which was down. It's like a northern suburb of Philly. It's right on the Delaware River, right across the river from Trenton. So when I worked in New York, I would just take the train out of Trenton and go up to New York. So to get up to see the grandson, it was a 4-hour ordeal each way.
So Chris, if you wouldn't mind, leaning on your experience as a pastor a bit, maybe just give us a little bit of a Christmas holiday message.
Sure, I could do that. This month, I always like when I preach through the holidays, I always try to find a different way to look at the event, like Christmas especially. It's like there's so many different ways to look at it instead of going through the passages in Scripture that we know, that we know the story, we've heard the story a bunch of times. So there's always different ways to look at it. So this year I decided to take a look at 12 different Christmas carols and just see the Christmas story as it's told through Christmas carols, which of course those carols are written as far back as the 1600s to the 1800s. So classic old music, but it's definitely time tested. So without going through all of them, the one that actually I think struck a chord with a lot of folks was the carol "Joy to the World," which is it's a great carol in that it anticipates a lot of great joy. And of course, this time of year, we always see, decorations and they all say joy. A lot of them say joy on them. Wrapping paper, Christmas cards, they all say joy. But if you look around and talk to folks, for the most part, there's not a whole lot of joy going on in the world right now. And especially this time of year, it just seems to make it amplifies the fact that we're not sensing any joy. So then we've got this song that we sing, right? Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Let earth receive her King. Yeah, we know Jesus is the King of Kings. So, but we look around today, it's like, well, do we see that? Do we see him? We see him really, in that role. Later on in the song says he rules the world with truth and grace. Do we see that? Well, as a creative and as an agent in creation, yes, we do. But again, where's the joy? Where's the joy that we can sense today? Well, one of the lines is, "Let every heart prepare him room." We know the story that Mary and Joseph, they couldn't find a place, right? And so and we're told in Scripture that there was no room for them at the inn. So into a stable they went, and that's where he was born. So here's this song saying, "Let every heart prepare him room." So basically, all the people that night in that town in Bethlehem didn't have room for him. How many of us don't have room for him in our heart, which is really what the song is saying? So, joy to the world, let every heart prepare him room. And then it says, heaven and nature sing. It says, repeat the sounding joy. It says, wonders of his love that we talk about. But the third stanza is the key. It says, it talks about he comes to make his blessings flow far as the curse is found. The curse being, of course, the original sin, Adam and Eve. And creation, we're told in the book of Romans, creation groans to this day as a result of that. And the third stanza starts out with no more let sin's sorrows grow, nor thorns infest the ground. So the idea is that when Jesus is in your heart, right, you made room for him in your heart, then you know forgiveness of all that. And there's the joy. That's the joy that this whole season really represents. So there's that old cliche, Jesus is the reason for the season. Well, of course he is. And but the message is that he was born, so really he was born to reconcile mankind to a holy God. So my encouragement to everybody is, as you go through the hustle and bustle this time of year, running around getting presents, putting up Christmas trees and all this other stuff, and just getting aggravated through the whole thing, take a few moments and just ask yourself, do you have room in your heart for him? And if you do, then that would be the source of the true joy that the season speaks about. So that's my word for the for the group watching tonight. I didn't want to get too preachy, and I hope I didn't. But
well, thank you very much, Chris. You know what? I need some grounding like that myself. I mean, I go straight from a really busy work, environment into the Christmas season. There's barely enough time on weekends to get some shopping done and take care of the gifts and other stuff. And on top of everything else that we do, I think it's a really nice thing. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to do that. And for everybody watching on the stream, thanks for kindly paying attention on that front. Okay, let's get into some stuff now, ham radio related. We want to take a look back at the year that was, from our own perspectives, and I'm hoping as we do this, I think it's really important, just for personal growth. Look at what we've done over the past year, and in the hobby, to frame it with ham radio. What have we learned from our exploits? Because we've all done stuff and dabbled in stuff. Hopefully we haven't been so distracted by other things going in our lives that we haven't had a chance to actually dig into the radio stuff a bit. So if, as you're listening along, please into the chat, let us know stuff that you've come across that you think that was really important for you in your development as an amateur radio operator. Chris, tell us, you had some fascinating videos and some really interesting experiences over the year. What have you taken away from 2023?
Well, this year, I would say is that, I think one of the streams we did when we first talked about this, is I'm blaming it all on you. Yeah. And that is that this past year,
Tim's nodding.
No, that's a good idea. I like that. Keep going.
Yeah, it's all Tracy's fault. My wife and I have gotten into camping, and of course, if you like doing anything related with POTA, then Connecticut's got these beautiful state parks that have campgrounds in them, and guess what? They're POTA parks. So the cool thing there was we got to merge both of those activities, going out camping and doing some ham radio out there. So I really felt like it was all Tracy's fault. That's really why we're doing it. But her way to manger on the theremin. You haven't heard it on harmonica yet. So
could we do a duet?
Yeah, I think I'd rather duet myself. Old joke. So anyway, so we did a lot of that this year, which was a lot of fun, But what I learned out of that is make sure you've got a backup plan, because one of the camping trips we went out and I left my vertical antenna and all the stuff that goes with it home. So but luckily in my pack, I had one of Tim's trusty antennas in there. So that's how I got on the air for that trip. And it was a successful activation. But also this year I did something different too for field day. I'm not a heavy duty field day operator and never really have been, but I like going out and doing whatever I can. So this year I did it mobile, which is 1 Charlie, I think was my, I think that was my class. And, that's something I never did before, which was, that was a pretty hectic day. It was an exhausting day. I mean, I did at the same time activated 3 POTA parts, but I was doing field day mobile, which was pretty neat. So, that was pretty, I think the takeaway for 2023 for me was I did a lot more field operations, a lot more things that I've never done. So it was kind of like stretch things to do, which was pretty neat. Building that antenna was a learning experience when I did the fan dipole, just having to tinker with it and get the thing to work right. And it was, all a learning experience. So for me, this year was filled with a lot of just picking up some new techniques that I hadn't done before with ham radio and, operating the field and that kind of thing. So that's my year this year.
Good stuff. Okay, thanks for that, Chris. It sounds like, and I think it was a bit of a resurgence for you where you had some other things in your life taking you away in the immediate previous years where you got back into it a little bit more. And there's hope in there for a lot of us who are in the boat where, they're just too busy with stuff going on, and they're looking forward to a time when they can get back into it.
Right.
All right. Hey, Tim, tell us about N9SAB Antenna Store, about your experience dealing with hams, about how did 2023 as a whole go for you?
Oh, it's like we were talking about this a little earlier, but it's more or less just a blur. Yesterday it was, June. I don't even how we got to Christmas here. But I did try some new stuff this year. I had put on my bingo card to play with WinLink and Vara, some of the other stuff, some of the work that we did with the Tech Prepper. That was fun. So that was a new thing too. The whole MVIS thing isn't something that I had really experimented with before. No real new antennas other than doing things in the link style that I like to do now, which is fun. I got a lot of feedback from the field about how when people want to pull up to a place and just put up a quick, like Chris, right? When he did his quick activations, he drives in and he wants to I feel bad for somebody who would have to put up, the vertical and lay the ground wires and do all this stuff. See, I just want to throw my bag in a tree and, start working. And I think you can do that with like the 20 meter linked versions of some of the things that we can do. And then when you're done, just go. Philip is talking about the heavy duty puck. So I experimented a lot with different filaments and different filament engineering materials this year. And he was my field tester because he's going out multiple times a week at some point, sometimes, and throwing stuff in trees and getting stuff done. And he broke 1 or 2 of mine, which gave me some good ideas. So I made for him an oversized toroid enclosure, army green in ASA, which is like the super heavy duty outdoor filament. And that's kind of the style that we moved to. Hello. Hi.
Show the doggo. He wants to get on camera. Oh,
perfect.
Time for the walk. He's coming in here to remind me.
Yeah. Oh, I can't see that look making you feel too guilty at all.
No, he's the best. There he goes. You see him looking at me? He's peeping at me he's like, I'm gonna go sit by the door until you're done. So that's kind of been the year. And hopefully next year will be as much fun.
Fantastic. Well, I know that you've been going great guns, and you can. The thing is, near as I can tell, you're continuing to grow your sales, and the amount of positive feedback just keeps coming.
Yeah.
You know, you haven't let your quality slip at all. You're still making great stuff, and it's working for people. So.
Well, that's the best thing when I get feedback like that. Like I took like I took something of yours out, and I was able to, first of all, I get a lot of I'm a new ham. I'm going out and trying to do this. I just want to give people that stuff that goes out there and works.
Yeah.
So if you can take my stuff out there and not have to fiddle with it,
Yep.
just put it up in the tree and then get on the air, right? Outdoors on the air. It should be.
Gives you an idea. Outdoors
Yeah,
on the air.
yeah.
I've heard that before.
I think the ARL's got a T-shirt about that.
Yeah, that should be what it's all about. My goal is always to have people can do whatever they want, and hams are gonna ham. All right, and you're gonna have a new ham starting out in the course of, if he sticks with it, he's gonna end up with 50 antennas, which is totally cool. I think that's awesome. I just want, like Chris, to have that one in the bag.
Yes.
That you can go to all the time, no matter what, and have that one be mine. That's what I'm looking for.
Do you know what? It reminds me of my my uncle, long since passed, but he was an incredibly avid fisherman, and he always he used to live out in the country a bit, and he used to try. He was a carpenter, so he used to go from job site to job site as the work was available. And he kept in his trunk a Popeil pocket fisherman. Do you remember those little fold-out fishing rods?
Yeah.
Yep.
And if he ever found a place he drove by, he said, "Oh, there might be fish in there." He'd just pull the car over and spend half an hour, 45 minutes fishing, because he loved fishing. Well, it's the same thing with our hobby. I mean, I find that I really, and I don't have this yet. I don't have that little kit that hey, that place looks like a cool place to pull over and play radio. But man, every time I hear somebody talk like you just talked there, Tim, I am thinking, boy, that's on my list.
And the cool thing is too, I mean, you can get. Did you see what Santa brought me?
No, what did Santa bring you?
Santa brought me this.
Oh, that. Oh,
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Which I have not opened yet.
Do you mean this?
So what am I looking at here?
Well, I like this. In
Cool.
fact, you can have it propped up. It's nice.
Yeah. So Santa lives in Canada, by the way.
Well, unfortunately, that's where the North Pole is, isn't it?
Oh.
In Canada. So I think they're
Where's Santa from? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Santa's yeah. So what you're looking at there is a pouch, and one of my viewers tipped me off to this one. It is amazing. I'm going to release a video in a couple of weeks on this because I took it and I outfitted mine with an FT70 and all of its accessories fit inside that pouch beautifully. And then I thought, I wonder, would the FT817 fit in there?
Yeah.
So I tried it. It did. I immediately ordered another one for the FT817. I'm going to have a video on it. In the video is going to be a link to the Amazon page for the product. It's Chinese made. It's like, but I spend a lot of time looking for quality gear to pack my stuff up in, and this is one of the best I've ever found. So
cool, yeah.
The fact that it's Chinese, it is what it is. Good zippers, solid construction, cheap, like ridiculously cheap. Not suggesting that Santa is cheap at all, but my point being that it's
first rule in digging a hole is knowing when to stop.
That's right. So there you go. So that's what it is. You know what, guys? I think in our next stream, we should pull out our bags and compare what we've done.
Yeah, we
with
packed them. I like it. Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's funny.
Okay.
I think of what you were saying about your uncle. It was right. That it's like, I think part of the reason, at least in my case, part of the reason why, I'm not able to do that, because by the time I load everything up on my bag, I've got it's a project. So if it goes somewhere and say, hey, this is a great place, I think I want to operate from here. It's not quite that easy. You got to take all your stuff out. It's usually a bigger pack and it's got more crap in it than you need to have with you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now with me, okay, I got the HF rig in my truck with the ham sticks on it. So, I mean, I could technically pull up anywhere and start operating. Yeah. But it's like,
brings a tear to my eye.
It is a little different than being able to just get your 817 out, throw an antenna up in a tree and get on the air. It's a little different when you have a ham stick and a mobile setup. But anyway,
I got a wolf too.
Yeah, the little wolf there. I got a Canuckistan flag with mine.
Did you? I noticed mine shipped from up here in Lake Racine, so it was like 30 minutes away from where it came from. This is cool.
Yeah.
Philip uses a Kelty Raven 2500.
Kelty's a good brand. They make some really good quality camping gear.
Philip's a one-upper.
Yeah, but he's an engineer. They got to be. They're born that way. More to come on Philip.
I just wanted to be happy with my little Chinese pack here. Okay, that's all I wanted.
That's what I was asking earlier. How your G90's working out?
Listen, I've got after Chris's message, and I got a gift, and I was contemplating the joy in my heart and what it meant to be in the season. And here comes Philip with his, I get a Kelty 5000.
Well, there's always somebody that just kind of.
Well, I would have ignored him if he said it was a Fall Raven or a Maxpedition, because those are really expensive.
Yes, they are. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, my G90 has like an inch of dust on it.
What?
And it's
That's a powerful fan in that thing.
So if you were to go to my QRZ page, you would see that I built that Stanley had these yeah, I'm coming. So Stanley had these toolboxes, right? There was like a split rolling toolbox thing. So I may have mentioned this before. So I took the bottom, I gutted everything, and I set it up. I set it up so that I put the batteries in there and then wired everything so I would keep the radios in that top chest. So it's a chest about yay big. And I set it up. I put the 817 in there, wired everything so the antennas can come out, and it was a big deal, right? Well, I took the 817 out of there because I meant to put the G90 in there. I wanted to up it, right? So I swapped the batteries out for LiPos. I got another 40 amp hours in there or something like that. I wanted to go 20 watts and see what happens. And right in the middle of that, things got super busy, and so the 817 was sitting on the bench over there, and the G90 was sitting on the bench over there. They haven't. I grabbed the 817 when I went to Minnesota, right? Because I radio, antenna stuff, and just kind of threw everything in there, and we gotta go, we're gonna be late. So I just grabbed everything.
Oh, come on, you don't hear that too, do you?
Are you kidding me, man? I worked up until like the last minute, right? So we were supposed to leave at like, some ungodly hour in the morning or whatever. It was like, and I worked until probably, 1 or 2 in the morning the night before. So it's like the whole 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning thing is out, right? So we ended up leaving at like 11 o'clock. I got up and, and I hadn't done anything, right? So I'm just, I'm grabbing clothes and, putting stuff in there. It's like, oh shit, I got to go grab the radio, right? So I grabbed and bagged, and crossed my fingers the whole way out there to make sure I had everything. I did.
As we're talking, because as Tim was saying, like there are times when my wife and I go somewhere and we're not in my truck. So that's where that pack would come in handy, having the quick deploy antenna. So
yeah, absolutely.
My wife's going to be thrilled that we had this stream tonight.
The one thing with a pack like that though, is that you have to keep the battery out of the car, right? Whether it's extreme heat or extreme cold is going to kill a battery. Right. So when you go, you just got to remember to snag a battery on your trips, because that's the downside there. Hey, listen, I love what Philip just wrote here. This is down from 2 4800 cases and 4 duffels. Only took 28 activations to get tired of that mess.
Wow.
And there's a man with infinite patience in my estimation.
Absolutely.
Jeez. Okay, and Philip says, hey, he's wounded. What victory?
Oh, Philip's one of my favorite hams. At some point, we should have him on and let him go to town about solar power, because I know he's got some very specific views. on
Yeah.
that, which I think are interesting, which is fun. You know, it would be good information to pass on.
All right. Fantastic. Let's move on a bit here,
I
guys.
keep asking him. He says no.
He says no.
No. Come on, Phyllis.
Ah,
No, I'm
tough guy.
I don't hang around. I'm an engineer.
Tough,
I got
guy.
better things.
We'll talk about him being a tough guy in just a few slides here. But let's move along here. So I had a really interesting year. At least, of course, completely from my perspective, it was a difficult year for me. The start of the year, I was completely YouTube burned out. I know I talked to you guys about it off screen. It's like all I did for a few months there, all I was doing was the live stream. If it hadn't been for the live stream, I probably would have checked right out. But I just hit a wall.
Well, can I give you? Can I tell you something? I mean, I remember this conversation, and I was like, oh no, Tracy's burning out on YouTube. But your production values are so high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a mini. It's like a little mini, movie production company that you take with you and do your stuff. And I know that you invest an enormous amount of time and care into do that. And it shows. I mean, you should be proud of the work that you're doing. My suggestion, as you may recall, would just be, hey, let's do some fun shorts,
Yeah. I gotta get my head wrapped around. That's my problem. It takes me a while to wrap my head around things. Once I do, I'm fine. But it's going to require some dedicated effort and in that direction. Anyway, so you guys helped me through it, because if it hadn't been for the live stream, I might have very well pulled the plug. And this seems to be a common thread. And we've got a slide coming up a little bit later on, Tim, excuse me, that kind of plays into this. I don't know if you know the one I'm referring to, but I'll sort of draw attention to it as we get there.
Yeah, I'm not that quick, so you have to.
No, you're fine. Excuse me. But I realized I just needed to shake things up. It was one of those times. So for the first time ever, public disclosure on the live stream here, I'm sort of breaking it all down. I sold my 891. I sold my FT 897.
Yeah, it was a sad day. Yeah.
I had two beautiful rigs sitting here in the shack, and ICOM 7410. Still love that radio to bits, and it's VHF, UHF, HF big brother, the 9100. Sold them both. Turned around and bought the radio I said I wouldn't buy, which is an ICOM 705. And all in just an effort to shake up and sort of, like the Spaniards coming to the New World and the captain afraid of mutiny and them heading back, the crew taking off back home. He burned the boats so that they were committed to their mission. And it's sort of like, that's sort of like the way I'm feeling right now, is that, okay, I've got my SGC 2020. I've got my ICOM 705. Of course, I haven't got rid of my 817. That's still here. I'm charting a new path for myself with these radios, and it's all low power. So I got through that. Oh, look at this. Philip coming in. He's going to retire his 897. And believe me, Philip, I can completely relate. That 897 has been to every Great Lake activation that I've done. More adventures with that radio than you can shake a stick at. What I will do is say anybody who's got an 897 or maybe considering an 897, the fellow I sold it to is big, and I mean big, into VHF, UHF sideband contesting. And he sought out the 897 because it is a stellar rig for single sideband on 2 meters and 440. And he would know. He's got all the gear. He's got an 80-foot tower up on a hill, and he participates in all the contests. And so it's gone to a good home. And just something that people don't generally know about the 897 is what a great performer it is up there. Excuse me. So I moved from there forward. I managed to go, Ontario, the province that I live in, is absolutely gigantic. It's massive. You know, I drove to Lake Superior this year. It was an 11-hour drive, and that's not even halfway to the Manitoba border. I mean, it is a big province. I managed to get to Lake Superior. I managed to get to the farthest provincial park north in northeastern Ontario that you can get to by car, and that was 10 hours. And then I did, because I thought, okay, I did the farthest northeast, I got to do the farthest southwest. So I went all the way down to Wheatley Provincial Park, which is near Windsor and Detroit, and operated from there. So I ended up having a year where I spanned a lot of territory, and I had two, well, let's call it three major antenna takeaways. Number one, first and foremost, Tim's. He recommended it to me, the G5 RV. He said, hey, I think you're going to like this even better than the Mini Windham that he built for me a few years ago. 40/10, which I love. I love that antenna to bits. The G5 RV, an excellent performer. I netted over 100 contacts on QRP for field day.
Isn't that a lot of fun? Isn't that you got the big 40-meter version though?
Yes.
I'm a little partial to the 20 because it's so compact. You know, you got to have a tuner, but
right. Well, that's the thing about the G5 RV, right? Unlike the Mini Windham, it's not 66 feet long; it's 51 feet long.
And the
so
20
you don't need all that space to put it up and have an effective antenna. So it definitely has that going for it. The one caveat I would say about 20 is, and it's less of an issue these days than it was 5 or 6 years ago. Hey, if 20 is not open, you're not making a lot of contacts.
Very true.
Yeah, but these days, I think for the next few years, you're going to be fine working 20. So G5 RV, 2 thumbs up. Earlier this year, I was at the Dayton Hamvention. And I picked up, actually, no, it was much earlier in the year. I picked up a low cost, I think it was antennas for less, Tim. I think you and I talked about it, a magnetic loop. It didn't work worth a darn. I sort of wrote off magnetic loops. And then
is that the one that you were working out of the back of the car?
No. That was the Chameleon.
No. You had an antenna.
Oh, yes. Oh, you're right. You're right. It is. Yeah. I was up at Craigleith Provincial Park in the southern shore of Georgian Bay, which is the giant bay attached to Lake Huron, and right on the water's edge there. And I started off trying to use that antenna. Couldn't make a contact to save my life. I threw up an N9 SAB end fed. Bang, 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 bang. I made my.
Usually the way it works.
Yeah. So there you go. But then I later in the year I got very lucky and picked up a Chameleon F loop. And I know, Tim, you don't necessarily like to hear about other types of antennas, but hey, that one worked out really well.
That's not true. I just like to joke around a little bit. I mean, there are more antennas and more antenna makers out there than you can shake a stick at. And like I said before, I mean, people who are going to be doing this a long time are really you're gonna develop a collection of antennas.
Yeah.
And I just want to be the guy in the pocket that, hey, I'm playing around with this today. Well, you know what? If it doesn't work out, I've always got this one, which I know will work. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of like,
and that's just it, right? You've got this arsenal. You got this toolkit full of antennas.
Yeah.
Which one do I use? Where am I going? What's it going to be like there? What would be most practical? How much time do I have? These are all factors that weigh into it. And for example, what's the weather going to be like? Hey, if the weather's going to be bad, I'm taking an N9 SAB because that Chameleon is not designed for poor weather. You can't use it in the rain or the snow. They're very clear about that. Hey, look at this. Just going back to Philip on his 897. The display is starting to die. They get zebra stripes, and the replacement displays are becoming scarce, very scarce, and that's a crying shame because there's no, as far as I know, there's no way. Well, I guess you can hook up Ham Radio Deluxe or something to get to get it on the screen, but still, I don't think it's a good base radio because it's noisy. And with all the noise in today's ham shacks, it's just, there's no real way to fix that short of maybe a DSP speaker, which is only going to help so much. Okay. Hey, Scout 75 is chiming. Can you use a G5RV in an inverted V, like an OCF dipole or a Windham or dipole? Hey, Tim, you want to tackle that one?
Without question. Absolutely.
Yep.
Certainly. Most definitely. Yes.
I did it for years.
Yeah.
In my home shack.
And it'll propagate much the same way too.
Yep. Works great that way.
Yeah. Hey, here's Forget Your Life. Hey, thanks for joining. Always a pleasure to have you around. And he's talking about the G5RV, and this makes a lot of sense as long as the twin lead isn't on the ground. Absolutely. The twin lead is radiating. It's part of the antenna. You need to have it up in the air.
For sure. But you can run it low, like the 20 G5RV that I like to play with. Like you can run it, 16 feet, 15 feet, 15, 16 feet, and you get a lot of performance out of the small package.
Right.
Yep. Nice.
Okay. Mag loops on vehicles don't work as the police frown on you doing donuts in parking lots trying to be safe.
Okay, so at some point in 2024, we have Phil on with his theremin and with a duet.
Yeah.
Chris on the harmonica.
There you go.
And I'll play the kazoo.
Hey,
and we can play our theme song, right? We're writing a theme song.
Oh yeah, the theme song. Yeah. So Philip goes on here. Now I need to know, is he saying this tongue in cheek? Loops plus low power equals frustration.
You never know with him. I mean, it could be,
So
I've not had good experiences with loops. The only place I recommend a loop is like somebody who's in an apartment or something like that, who doesn't have space, or as you got these, but they're finicky, right? I mean, I've watched some of your videos, and it's always seemed to be that you've got this, what do they call it? That low Q factor where you go up, 10 or 15 kilohertz or something. You've got to start making adjustments and things like that, which is fine if you're out there CQing or doing whatnot. But like if you're hunting, I don't know that that's the antenna that I would want to use.
Yeah, definitely not a field day antenna because unless no, it's not a field day antenna because you want power if you're going to run a channel.
Yeah, but as far as being compact and good performer, it's just another antenna style that's appropriate for certain circumstances and works well in some instances.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Bottom line, it is a compromise antenna. Dipole, off center fed. Absolutely. But I want to say that I want to make this point just for those who might be watching and are wondering. So Philip's comment about low power plus a loop equals frustration. There I am, Lake Superior Provincial Park, using the Chameleon F loop, 17, not 70, 17 watts out of my SGC 2020, and I broke the park record for POTA. Conditions were good, no doubt about it. But you don't do something like that unless your system is at least somewhat efficient, and it turned out to be pretty good. So I
was distracted there for a second. Somebody was sending me a message, but what was again? You broke the park record. I heard that part.
Yeah. So at Lake Superior Provincial Park, using the Chameleon F loop on 20 meters, I broke the park record.
Oh, the video that you posted about a week or two ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm just going to catch up on some comments here. Hey, Wade, VA3NCA, thanks for joining us. Listening along at 2 times. Oh my gosh, you're better at that than I am. Okay. New old stock displays are no longer, we're talking about the 897 again, no longer out there, gone. What a shame.
That is a shame. You know what? That's the one radio that I've always wanted and never bought.
Yeah.
I just love the look. I love that.
It's a cool looking.
I love that chunky, stock look. Yep. It looks like, Death Star Empire kind of radio.
Now here's the thing. It's not military grade, right? No. It's not, but it's a whole lot closer to that than modern rigs are. You know,
Sure.
you compare it to an ICOM 705, an 891. These things don't hold a candle to the ruggedness of the 897.
I would, in 10 years or in 15 years, they're going to be like, the old vintage Kenwoods or something.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
There'll be
right.
somebody
At that
out there
point-
rebuilding them and recapping them and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll pick one up then if I'm still around.
Hey, Merry Christmas to Kim and Happy New Year to you too. Thanks for joining us, Kim.
She showed up on a Kim. I gotta let you know something. I was on the air the other day, and your call sign showed up in a DX spot. Somebody spotted you.
All right, let's take a look. What else we got here? So Tim put Philip up to it under the bus. Oh, what does that mean? Oh, she's talking about the loop plus low power equals.
So I think you're doing donuts.
Okay. Hey, it's Zach. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, it's Neck. Hi, Tracy. Hi, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you too, Neck. Thanks for joining us. All right, what else we got? Yesu still has 857 displays. Last I heard, this from Philip.
Yeah, I was talking to a buddy too a couple of days ago, and he lives in Texas, and he's got this place, and he wanted to do like an 80-meter end fed, right? So you're talking 125, 130 feet, and he wanted to put a little bit of power through it. So I sent him over to Nelson, right? Because he's somebody who's making 200, 250 watt 80-meter end fed.
Sorry, who's Nelson?
Nelson, the antenna guy. Nelson Antenna on eBay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, he's been around forever, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's just like, okay, well, try one of these, and see how it and see how it does. But again, you're talking 130 some feet of wire to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that 80 meters is worth it, to be honest. So when I do 80 meters, right, I just go with the random wire.
Yeah.
And put that up there because it's 2/3 of the length kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a point. What were we talking about? A buddy down in Texas wanted to do that. He has an 857 new, still in the box, right? We're talking about.
Wow.
I'm like, oh yeah, I got 857, and 857 is what's the 100-watt one? The micro? Is it the 857 or is it the? Yeah, it's the 857, right?
The 857 is 100 watts. It's the mobile version of the 897.
Super small, the super small one, right? And it's like, okay, it's like, I don't.
No, it's not super small. That's not the 857.
Who's the super small one then? The 100-watt super small that Yesu makes.
The FT100.
No, it's the.
No, that other generation.
Yeah, there were three. There was the 897. There was the 817.
Well, that's the 817.
And then there was the 857, which was 100-watt, which at the time when it came out was the smallest radio, whatever. Right. It's got it new in the box, and it was like, okay, let's just pass that over. I'll help you out with that.
Cool. Yeah. Hey, here's Kim back to us. K6YYL. I was Parks on the air this past weekend, and then again on Monday. She is a machine. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Southern California, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Hey, but speaking of which, so not this upcoming Saturday after next, I will be out in the field for the Canada Winter Contest. So anybody who's out there that wants to make a contact, listen for me on the Canada Winter Contest a week from Saturday. Hey, Kim's coming back. She's talking about an 857D. She did replace the face because of the zebra striping. It is a great rig, Kim. Absolutely. All right, let's move along because we still have a lot of material to cover. Holy cow, how are we going to do that in the next 11 minutes? Okay, year in review. Hey, Chris, do you want to spend a couple of minutes just giving your thoughts on some of the guests that we've had over the past year?
I thought this year we had some really some really great guests, great conversation. Of course, I'm just taking a quick look at it, and having Gilles on, the radio prepper, I thought was great. Had a great time talking to him. I've been following his channel for a long time. And of course, our friend K0 was KLB, right? Loading up John Deere tractors and everything else.
And we're working from crop circles.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I love that. I love this that whole concept. And it's Sunday nights, right? And I've got to get on there one of these Sundays.
Yeah. So to communicate that effectively to the audience, Kevin has a QRP net on Sunday nights, which is a great idea. Sunday doesn't work for me. I thought it was on the Friday, and I'm set out there on my last fall camping trip, and I send Kevin an email, say, hey, Kevin, this is on the Friday afternoon. Hey, I think I'm going to be able to log into the QRP net. And he sends back to me, he says, oh, sorry to hear that, because we switched the nights to Sunday nights. So I didn't get to.
Okay, so I'm not crazy then, because I always thought it was on the other night. And I was walking around thinking, oh, I got to get on. I got on there. And then I was talking to somebody, and they're like, oh, no, that's on Sundays.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being on Sundays.
Sorry?
It was. I don't remember it being on Sundays. I wanted to go.
No, it originally was a Friday night.
The Friday night, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm not crazy then. Good.
Nope. So hopefully it's still going well. Anybody who wants to check into the QRP net that Kevin has, by all means, to check out the QRP net on Sunday nights. Okay. Anything else, Chris?
Yeah, I'm just looking. We had, of course, Kim was very. It's funny, doing the limited POTA that I do, and it's funny I say that because I'm not really a big heavy POTA person. But then when we were talking to Kim, I was like, wow, I'm like nowhere near. She's taking POTA to a whole new level.
Oh yeah.
And then Rob on the 741 channel lives here in Connecticut, and Rob was he's big these days in the 6 meters, and a lot of his videos he talks about that and all sorts of other things. I thought it was an interesting conversation with him too. So we've had some great streams this year, and I thought they really brought a lot to the table with just kind of enhancing what we all know, and we had some great discussion with the chats too for those things. So yeah, that was. I enjoyed all the streams we did. The Red Summit, the stealth antenna guy too. I told a friend of mine who lives in Florida to check him out because my friend lives in an HOA. I said, no, you got to check this guy out. I said, you can run an antenna anywhere and nobody will see it. So yeah, so great stuff. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, Jill is my favorite, right? I mean, we're kind of like interested in all the same things. I'd love to party with that dude. He lives in France, of all places.
Any other thoughts, Tim, on the on something else?
I hope the coming year is as good as the previous year, certainly. And and I love the quality of our guests, because these are some channels that don't necessarily get. They're not the high profile ones. They're not the, they're not the super big audiences. They're not small, but they're not, they kind of fly under the radar. And a new ham coming in is going to be familiar with, Ham Radio Crash Course and Ham Radio 2.0. And he's going to, all those guys, he's going to know who those people are. He may not, or they may not be hip to some of the gems, the hidden gems, which I think, which is what we're trying to do. So I think we accomplished that quite a bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I sort of.
You could call us a hidden gem too. Well, hidden anyway.
I guess that's true, isn't it?
Yeah, we're gems, all right.
A hidden lump of coal, perhaps.
Wait, what's that they say? You're a real treasure. You should be buried. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Richard E. Evening, gents. Merry Christmas. Hey, Merry Christmas to you too, Richard. Thanks for dropping by. I just sort of want to go through these one at a time and give some just a real brief overview. First of all, I'm grateful for every guest that we've had that's given of their time to come and impart some of their knowledge, and everybody that we invited, high quality from a perspective of knowledge that they have to share.
Yes.
Start with 741. I love now his is, and he was actually surprised that we tapped him for this.
He was, yep.
He was genuinely surprised because he's got more of a handyman channel, as opposed, it's not really dedicated to ham radio. Right. He does a little bit of ham radio here and there. But Chris, when you suggested him, I knew I'd seen some of his stuff before, And I watching some of his videos, you know, and here is me, a YouTube publisher. Hey, everybody has their own way of doing things. And so I'll look at somebody's YouTube video and I'll say, you know, if I was doing that video, I'd do this different, I'd do that different. But when I take a look at Rob's, it's like he did it exactly the way I would have done it. Yeah. I love his style. He explains sort of step by step what he's going to do and how he goes through it. One particular video on an antenna was it was incredibly well done, very well explained. And so it was a joy to have him on and chat about some of the stuff that he's done. Moving over to Peter, VE3TWM, what he has been able to pull together, you know, a full legal power station out of a townhouse that is effective with indoor antennas and stealth antennas is mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling.
Full power too, right?
Sorry?
It's run full power, right?
Oh yeah, that third eye, it doesn't bother me at all.
I'll tell you what he's done is absolutely impressive. So if you're in an HOA and you think there's no way, all I can do is run a ham stick, you got to go back and check out that live stream. He'll blow your mind. Then we had Kevin. I absolutely think Kevin is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I love his attitude. You know, there's enough seriousness out there in the world. It's nice to be able to pepper in somebody who's got a sense of humor, who has great fun. I don't know of anybody that has more fun with the hobby than Kevin does.
Right.
K0KLB. And the stuff he makes work as antennas and actually makes contacts with, it's stunning. And it's so much fun. If I was younger, had more energy, and was better looking, I'd be doing stuff like that too. So my hat's off to Kevin. Then we talk about Gilles. Okay, so Gilles is he has such a breadth of knowledge on the emergency grid down type of operating that I think I could listen to him for hours talking about this stuff. He's got a real gift and a ton of knowledge, and he delivers it in a very matter-of-fact way. A great channel for sure. Now we move along to Charlie of Red Summit RF. I mean, I wish I had a quarter of the energy that Charlie does, hiking up in these hills and back. And these aren't just hills; these are big hills. Tremendous. He's up there in the dark, and he gets up there at dawn, makes his contacts, and is on his way back to go to work. What a cool scenario that is. And
yes, I can never do that. It's all I can do to get out of bed.
and to hear stories like the Africanized honeybee story, which was absolutely terrifying, and some of the stuff that you don't think about when you go out portable in that kind of environment. Absolutely fascinating. So really happy that Charlie was able to join us. And then Kim, what can you say about Kim? First of all, Kim is a woman who is putting herself out there in a male-dominated hobby. And thank God we got people like Kim, and hopefully a lot more women to come into our hobby.
That's what I got into it for.
Sorry?
That's what I got into ham radio for. I don't know about you.
Oh, for the chicks?
For the chicks, man.
Not sure that was the greatest decision you ever made, but I forgot to ask. Did you find your wife through ham radio?
No.
Were you married when you got into ham radio?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, never mind. Don't answer that one. That could be incriminating.
Yeah. I got into ham radio because I was married. Think about that for a minute.
Okay. But just back to Kim, putting what she's done. And I've long been a believer that, up here in the northern climes where the three of us are, propagation is different in the southern U.S.
Yes, it is.
All right. It is better in the southern U.S. The maximum usable frequency doesn't always go up north. And if you look at the MUF map, but Kim is taking advantage of that natural situation and getting out there in good weather, because they have good weather in Southern California most of the time. She's a house on fire getting out there and making stuff happen. And I just think she's wonderful. And when she was on, she was able to impart a lot of great knowledge with regard to operating POTA. So
that practical experience is wonderful.
Yeah. So my thanks to our thanks to all the guests that appeared on our channel this year. Hey, we really appreciate your.
Did we have where was the tech prepper? Was that last year? Actually,
that was actually 2022.
No kidding. Wow.
He was the tail end. And since you mentioned him, Gaston, definitely one of our favorites here.
Oh yeah. He's doing some great stuff too.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, let's just go around. A few of us have picked some YouTube videos that we've come across that we think are notable. And hey, listen, here's Kim. Hey, thank you so much for the very kind words. You earned them, Kim. You absolutely earned them. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you a little bit and have you on as a guest. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, Tim. Let's. This one was one that caught your eye. What do you want to say about this?
Well, okay. So I stumbled upon Power Queen. Right. It must have been 6-8 months ago, and I was looking for. We have the cottage, right? So I want to do a solar battery setup at the cottage where I can run the radios, a small refrigerator, a couple of stuff, just in case, right? And I was looking for a battery, and I love the battle tested battle batteries and the Bianos and stuff like that, and those are all very cool, but they're just a little too expensive, right, for what I'm willing to part with for a battery. That's not unusual, I think. So I started looking at the Power Queens for value cost proposition, right? And I just thought that this was a really great find. And I was like, oh, I've got this cool, secret, Power Queen batteries. I can keep it to myself and, buy all the batteries. And then there was another guy on YouTube. I don't remember his name. Started doing a video and was like, oh, I found these cool Power Queen batteries. And I was just like, damn it, And then Julian came out with his thing on Power Queen batteries too. I was like, okay, well. And the funny thing with Julian is we kind of always arrive at the same place, but separately, right? Because I had no idea that he was doing anything like this. And then he came out too, not only with the Power Queens, he's got an affiliate link too. So I bought another one through his affiliate link, which was kind of nice. And it was here in like 2 days. I was amazed. And then as far as the solar controllers go for portable ham radio, he's also come upon the Genasun controllers too. I haven't tried those yet, but somebody had asked me. Well, that's not true. I did try something, but he came out with the Genasun too, and somebody was asking me about RF quiet solar controllers. And the Genasun, it worked for me because I replaced the Renogy 1 downstairs with the Genasun. So it's quiet. I can't hear it. And they also came out with the Genasun solar controllers. So I don't know. That's a decent recommendation, I think.
Good stuff. Hey, listen, we've got a few comments. Let's address them as we're working through here, guys. Chris, Richard E says, I think Rob was more in, we're talking about Rob 741, was more into ham radio during COVID. I also believe a lot of these ham radio channels picked up a large following because of the lockdowns.
Absolutely.
And I got to say, now Rob's been around for a while. He was around prior to, but I think Richard's point is that he did more ham radio stuff during COVID.
Yep.
I can certainly confirm, as somebody who's been on YouTube since 2011, that COVID brought out the hordes on YouTube.
That's worth its own. The impact of the pandemic on ham radio itself, I think, is worth a video by itself.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. At that point, at some point during COVID, viewership numbers on my videos dropped dramatically. And it was all I can attribute it to was just this massive influx of ham radio content on YouTube. And that was one of the things which led me to earlier this year starting to say, it's like I'm burning out, and I mean I'm making these videos, but the numbers have declined. So that was a real phenomenon. Okay, Richard also asks, hey, is Kevin the farmer who tunes up silos? Well, he starts with the silos,
That's right.
but then he gets into a whole bunch of other stuff too. You got to go over to the channel, Richard, K0KLB, and go. Absolutely. All right, let me see here. Who do we have? We have Dottie Scotty LD. Evening, gents. Merry Christmas. Just sheared to the Facebook group Quansheng UV Radio, UK users. Thanks for joining us. Scout 75. What's that, Chris?
Thanks for sharing it. What we're doing too. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Scout 75, talking about the Power Queens here. Tim says, I recently purchased a Power Queen 100 amp. Been extremely happy with it so far. Man, that's a lot of juice.
Well, you could start your car with that.
Well, I've got like 4 of them, right? So, I'm starting to build the bank because I want to be able to run a bunch of stuff. And a 100 amp hour battery, lithium is not that, it's kind of on the slightly lower end for that kind of thing. But I can't, my fingers start to curl up when a battery starts costing more than like $350, you know, and it's like, I can't do it.
It's a lot of money. Like, I have noticed that lithium iron phosphate batteries are coming down in price. I saw yesterday on Amazon Canada, so these are the Canadian pesos we're talking about here, $135 for a 30 amp. I think it was Eco-Worthy or something is the brand name. So it's clearly a Chinese lithium iron phosphate. But that's dropped down significantly. Those were more than $200 earlier this year.
So I'm convinced that there's a giant factory somewhere overseas that makes all of these batteries. I think I think the Battleborns are made here in the USA.
Markham, I think they're the fish finder ones. Dakota Lithium, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah. There's only a few. There's only a few, but everything else, I mean, I'm convinced that they're all, slap your sticker on kind of thing.
Right. Hey, this is really interesting. Rob Noakes, VE3PCP. Check out our operation from December 12th, the 122nd anniversary of Marconi receiving the first transatlantic radio signal at Signal Hill in Newfoundland. VA3XXT with guests SOTA, EVA, HB9, FPM, RISA, well, there's a name that we just recognized, R1BIG. I heard Riza on I think it was 40 meters. One day I was working last week here in the shack. She came on, and I think she was on the trans provincial net, 7100. She came on, and I was hoping to be able to make a contact with her, but I'm all QRP in the shack here right now, so I wasn't able to. But that's a really cool thing, Rob. What else has Rob got to say?
Do you have a link? Is that a video, or what is that? It says check out our operation, but what?
That's probably a video, right, of the operation.
Yeah, but Rob, if you're still watching, can you maybe give us an idea of where we would look for your video? Maybe the channel name, video name.
In the chat. You should throw a link in the chat.
Yeah. And he also says Callum, the DX commander, brought his own pileup, all operating through his remote station.
Sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now the question is, Mike, N2MAK, I'm late, but I'll do extra chores. Well, the question is not whether he will, but how many he should do if he was running in competition with us.
That's it. He missed it. We're going to get the mob after him. Vito and Louie and Vinny are going to go visit him.
I'd give him the boots. I wouldn't do that. But,
Hey, good to have you with us, Mike. All right, and it looks like Rob's going to go try to get us some information on that. Okay, what else we got going on here? Hey, look at this. My friend Chris had a video. Chris, let's talk a little bit about this video and what's happened with it and etc.
Okay, so that little box, it's like the latest little widget that I think a lot of folks are getting. In fact, there's mine right over there. What it is, it's the way I found it was I came across Jim W6LG's channel, which of course I know we all have heard of and we all watch, and he did a review and talked about this particular product. And what it is, it's Innovato, I think is how you pronounce it. Computer, it's like a Raspberry Pi, but it's not. But it's a tiny little, literally like a little box like this big. Self-contained computer, a couple of USB ports, an HDMI port, and power. That's it. And loaded on it, you can get this ham clock bundle loaded on it, which is that application you see running there. And also you can, if you get the bundle, you can get this little inexpensive little like gaming keyboard that comes with it. It works okay. I mean, when you get big fingers, it's not easy to work with, but it works. Anyway, it's a cool, you know, on my channel, my video, I hesitated to call it a gadget, but I think I did call it a gadget. It's got this coolness factor in the shack. When you've got that display running all the time, it's an appliance and it just runs. It takes a while. There's a learning curve to figure out how to operate it because it is a little clunky. There is a PDF instruction manual that will tell you most everything you need to know, but not everything. You still have to tinker with it and just learn your way around. Each one of the little square panes you see on the top, like that was the initial setting I had for it, had like weather in one of them and then the sunspot, some sunspot information, and then the picture of the sun. You can change those. And one of them I now have, I don't know if you can see it, I have the DX cluster running in one of mine. I also have a POTA cluster that runs in it, which is pretty neat. It looks around on, I forgot how it draws the data for the POTA cluster. And then it's got like, you know, the solar flux and local weather. And then I have also the International Space Station on the display. So it's a cool little device. It's only $50. So I got it. And what I like to do on my videos, if anyone's watched what I do on my channel, it's more like you're going to experience it with me. So I'm literally, it was an unboxing, but it was, okay, let's see how this thing works. And there's a learning curve to it, but it was fun. I mean, I've been having I just love looking at the thing, having it sitting there. It's pretty cool. The neat thing is that video. I did that video about a month ago, and I have almost 6,000 views on that already. So this is really a popular product that I think.
I'm telling you, that was me. I had to watch the thing over and over again to figure out.
Well, thank you for pushing up my view count. I appreciate that. So, but it's pretty cool. And I would say, like, you know, if you want to have I had that display I'm using is just a cheap little, you know, TV monitor that had an HDMI input on it. And that's it. Now, I'll tell you, it's not, as again, I don't know anything about Raspberry Pis or any of these things because I never used one. But if you want to, like, if you have to start from scratch, like to go back and change some of the configurations on the computer, you can't hit the escape key on the keyboard and go back home or something like that. You have to unplug it, plug it back in, it reboots, and then you select I want to go to setup, and then you go through all your setup stuff again. So that's the only thing I found with this little clunky. Unless somebody knows a secret keystroke that I have to, you know, stand on my head and hold three keys.
Eat a bug.
So, but look, once it's up and running, like I said, it's just a really cool thing to look at. I think it's pretty slick.
Very nice. Good stuff. Hey, so Rob VE3PCP came back. He said it won't let him add the link to the chat. All live stream links are on our QRZ page for VE3XXT, Victor Alpha 3, X-ray Tango.
We can add it. We can add it below, right after the when the stream is over.
If you guys want to do that, feel free. I don't know. Oh, you mean in the description?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a good idea. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, no worries. So I bought the Innovato?
Yeah.
What are we calling this thing? What's its name?
It's a ham clock. That's what they call it.
Okay, so I bought the ham clock, right? And so I got it, and they were out of stock. And then it came like a week and a half later, right? And I got this little box, and and my wife saw it, right? Because it's supposed to be a Christmas present. I need something to throw in the stocking or whatever. So it's like, here, take this. You can.
How thoughtful of you to buy her one. Jeez.
It's what I said. Yeah, I said, You're gonna, sweetheart, you're gonna love this.
That's right. It's gonna go the same route.
Remember the lamp? This is every bit as nice.
You see it, right? I buy my wife things I think she'd like, and then I end up keeping them, right? So, and I pulled it out of the bag or whatever, and it's like this little box. I was trying to explain what it was, and then I got this. I got this. Oh, wow! So it's some discussion followed regarding like edge computing or something like that, or appliance boxes or whatever. And I was like, yeah, yeah. So I'm nodding my head, smiling. It's like, okay. And then, but it started thinking, I know you can do the same thing with the Raspberry Pi, right? Pretty much. But I don't know about you. I'm starting to move away from Raspberry Pis and the Arduinos and things like that. They just don't seem very reliable to me. And in case in point, okay, so I went through a lot of trouble to buy a Raspberry Pi and all the fixins that go with it, and a solid state drive and some other stuff to set up an Umbral Bitcoin node here, right? And it ran for a couple of years. And then one day I woke up and I was like, because I would check it on it every once in a while, right? And all of a sudden it's not there anymore. So I come upstairs and the things, and then doing whatever it does when it doesn't work anymore. So I'm just like, screw it. I'm not. So they've come out with an appliance, an edge computing device, similar to this for it's like you have a home server or whatever that comes on. You can keep all your stuff on there and do that for Umbral. So I'm going to get one of those too, and then just resurrect everything and then run it on that. So I wonder if there's a trend that it's moving towards these little boxes. I'm getting too old for this stuff. I set it all up and flash the card and do that. I got stuff to do. It was geeky and fun the first time, a few years ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, if you looked like my eyes were glossing over when you were talking about Arduino and stuff, they were. I'm glad that you've saved me from going down that path.
Yeah,
Not that I had any inclination of doing so.
So you're already there, right? You're already there. I had to come to this point where it's just like, okay.
No. I never went there. I'm tired of technology. At this point in my life, I've spent a career in the IT world, and I'm just tired of technology, man. And here I just went and bought an ICOM 705. Don't ask. That's another story. Okay, all right.
Everybody's getting new radios except for me. I'm
not.
No. Tim, you got to open your wallet.
No.
Hey, I'm not getting new radios.
No.
I'm definitely status quo with the radios, so no new radios here.
Actually, and I joke about it, but I've been sitting on the fence on this FX4 TV thing. I think that
was cool.
On that, hold that thought, because we do have something that I want to talk about here. And here we go, talking about the FX4CR. Here's our friend Philip, who, by the way, has bailed. He's going for a sked with his brother. Thanks for scheduling a sked during our live streom, Philip. Yeah,
another one doesn't get it.
They're pretty particular. I think his brother's pretty particular. So I think he's got this like 1,000-watt amp. I think he has to start warming it up at like noon, and then he gets like half an hour out of it before it starts to.
You get an extra 3 dB. Get one S unit.
Yeah. So, I wanted him to be present for this, because at some point in this video, this is one of the ones that I found. And because we know Philip, he's always leaving these smart aleck comments, and he's an engineer, so he's smarter than everybody else in the room.
On paper.
What's that?
On paper.
Well, okay, yes, that there is that.
If you're an engineer, you have to say on paper.
Yeah, well, Chris is an engineer too, and I don't mean to be slagging my friend Chris. That's for sure.
All right. Listen, I've been called a lot worse. It's okay.
I thought he was a priest.
Well, he does it all.
Listen, I'm one of those guys like jack of all trades and master of none.
I can't keep up, man. I can't keep up.
No, don't try.
All right, so here we go. But Philip is operating here his FX4CR, and I see a lot of really positive comments about this. Now, Philip, let's just paint the complete picture here. He's in Georgia.
Oh, yeah,
All
of
right.
course.
And at
Well,
some point in this video, he makes a point about how cold it is. Look at the way he's dressed.
Right.
And I left a comment on the video. Philip, sometime you and I need to discuss the definition of the word cold. I'm going to be out Canada Canada Winter Contest next week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably not going to be quite as uncold as Philip was for this little activation.
I know,
So
Tracy,
I wanted to
send him a link to that video you did when you walked out. Literally, it was snowing, and you go
on the frozen lake.
He's still smiling though. It can't be that cold.
On the air. Right? When I saw that, I said, "This guy's hardcore, man. I can't do that."
I haven't done one like that for a while. I need.
You can't get me to take out the garbage some days in February, man. I'm telling you.
Okay. Hey, we're getting a bunch of really interesting comments here. So, Forget Your Life. I have an FX4CR. Forget Your Life. Tell us, what do you think of it? Tim's obviously interested in this rig. Give us your thoughts. So here we go. Okay. So he says, he continues, hard to get. When I was finally able to order it, took another 2 months. They are only made in small batches. Wow. Okay.
Create the demand.
Here we go. What's that?
Create the demand.
Yeah. Scout 75, cold in Georgia. I had to find a t-shirt with long sleeve.
Yeah.
That's good.
Here, look at this here. You want to hear a CQ?
Yeah.
There he is. CQ. I need to go. Oh, now he's camera.
Oh, the band just faded.
Yeah. Literally, CQ dog X-ray.
Anybody out there? I need to go for a walk.
So Richard is asking, what do all of you do for a living? I know Chris is a minister, but I didn't know he was an engineer too. Retired engineer, Chris.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And a broken down harmonica player. Aside from that.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like you're still pumping out some great tunes on the harmonica. And ham radio, YouTube publisher to boot. Tim, do you want to answer Richard's question?
What I do for a living?
Yeah.
Now I make antennas. I used to run a bottling factory. Bottles and tubes is my stock and trade.
Yeah. All right.
Bottle and tube filling.
But now it's all
shampoo and mouthwash and soap and body wash. So I have a little bit of a chemical background too. But now, no, I just make moonshine and antennas.
Fantastic. Yeah, I didn't know the moonshine bit, but you are drinking. What was that?
And trading crypto too. I have fun with that as well.
Isn't that drink? Was it Death Water or something like that?
Yeah. What are you drinking there again, Tim?
Liquid Death sparkling water.
There you go. Liquid Death.
So he's obviously a connoisseur of fine beverages.
Listen, that's what they had. Okay, usually I'm here with the San Pellegrino, but they, didn't happen. So
Richard is a computer engineer. Good stuff, Richard. Any comments I make about Philip being an engineer should not be taken personally by any engineers in the crowd.
Well, I wonder what Richard's thoughts are of the Innovata. The little ham clock.
Yeah,
that technology, is that like a?
We could have a discussion about edge computing here with
yeah.
All right, what else we got? Oh, and sorry, just for those, just to round out the three. Then I am in the software industry. Have been there for a while. I currently work for the largest Autodesk partner in Canada. And I am an account executive, and we do consulting and training on Autodesk and Bluebeam and a bunch of other stuff.
So wait a minute, I have the free version of Autodesk.
Do you? A trial?
Fusion 360, I think.
Fusion, a trial version.
Yes, whatever the free version is, because again, I can't hit the button.
Yeah.
So I'll see you for the employee discount.
Yeah. You don't know much about Autodesk, do you? All right, let's move it on. Hey, Mike, N2MAK, moonshine and antennas are two of my favorite things. Chris, you have a brother from another mother there. All right, forget your life. Back to the FXCR4. It's an amazing little radio. 20 watts SSB and very, very small. I have a feeling if I had a radio that small, I would lose it.
Mm.
No offense taken. Hey, good stuff, Richard. Okay. Scout 75. We got another engineer in the crowd. Holy cow. We don't have enough personality to take things personally.
That's true. That's very true.
I've got a nephew who is in university for engineering. He's well on his way. And we watched Godzilla versus Kong. We're all Godzilla fans. And all he could do from his engineer's perspective is point out how it couldn't possibly have happened.
Yeah, right.
Shut up and watch the movie.
So Godzilla couldn't possibly be 100 meters tall because he would be crushed under his own weight or something like that. Isn't that?
Well, it was more about this hole that Godzilla drilled into the world.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that Kong could come climbing out to fight him.
That's right. Yeah. Have you seen Godzilla -1 yet?
Have I? I was there opening weekend, absolutely,
really?
in IMAX.
It's in limited release here. It hasn't come around. I'm gonna have to wait for the DVD, I guess.
Oh no. You got to try to find it. And if you can find one in IMAX, unbelievable. 2 thumbs up, way up, as they used to say, as your Chicago people used to say. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Great movie.
Decode, yes.
Look at this. Rob uses AutoCAD 10 hours every day. Mechanical design and project quoting, millwright business. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. It's a small world.
So if he's a millwright, right? So I have the cornice on my house, this trim. The house is coming up, was built in 35, and I've got this wood pattern on the cornice, and I can't find the knife for it. None of the mill guys. Maybe I'll send him a picture. He can help me find that.
Hey, I'm going to show my age. I used AutoCAD. Wow, I want to say.
You got punch cards written on your shirt there.
Pretty much, yeah. Exactly. The last time I used AutoCAD was the version before you could use a mouse. I used this tablet that I was using it.
Wow.
So last time I used AutoCAD. It's been a while.
There you go, Tim. Rob says a millwright, not a woodworker.
Well, okay. So what difference do you have? I always thought the millwright was the guy who set up the equipment that they plane the wood that goes. No, millwright. Are you talking like CNC aluminum billet millwright or I don't know. Anyway, I was hopeful for a second.
Field of expertise. Maybe Rob can fill us in on that. Okay, let's roll back. I just wanted to, because we skipped over a couple. Tim, you wanted to talk about our pal Walt, who was on one of our live streams in 2022.
Was he 2022 as well?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. Wow.
Time flies, but you're having fun, guys.
Hey, listen, we found Walt when he only had like 3,000 subscribers. Okay, so
that is true. I'm not gonna
say anything. How he got where he is today, but no, I just it's interesting that we had a brief discussion about how there are ham radio channels out there that are subsidized in some way, shape, or form by products, and which is cool. It's not something that I do. I know it's not something that you do or Chris, but and Walt was kind of flirting with that a little bit, but then he decided against it. So he went to go to the subscriber mode, which I thought was interesting because he's the only one that I know of that has done that. There could be others. I could be wrong, but now he's got the subscriber thing. So I subscribe to it, and Julian has a subscriber thing too, I think. Yeah. So
sorry, are we talking Patreon here?
No. It's a YouTube subscription. You can subscribe through YouTube. You don't have to go
Oh,
through
okay.
Patreon at all.
All right. So is he producing content specifically for the subscribers then?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I
I
haven't.
don't know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Well, you guys are the YouTube guys. I was hoping.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I set up my YouTube account literally years ago. And I just publish videos. I haven't ever gotten very savvy about it. But then again, it's my end game is a little bit different, I suspect, than some of these guys.
Right.
I know it's a money losing proposition. It is a money losing proposition for me. If somebody is kind enough to hit that little tip jar when they watch one of my videos, which is extremely rare, people rarely do that. I think I've had 2 or 3 people do that. Then that's nice, but it's a money losing proposition for me. My YouTube channel is it's a creative outlet. It's a way of blowing off steam. And it gives my mind a different channel away from professional life, family life, and I've had some benefits from it for sure. I get to meet all kinds of wonderful people as well.
But you've got like 20,000 subscribers, right? Don't you?
I have 17,000 currently.
Okay, that's not.
Well, it's not chicken feed, and YouTube does send me a bit of money every month as a result of views, but it does not cover the expenses.
No, I don't think that it would. No, it's
not at all.
And I think you kind of tell the difference that there are people in this area that the YouTube channel is a money making. I make a living doing this content creation kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, and that's
I know, and those are the guys that have like hundreds of thousands of subs.
Yeah,
and there are a few of those in the ham radio space, right? And there are some guys that
what's a big ham radio channel? 50,000 subscribers or something like that?
No. More than 100,000.
Yeah. There's only a couple of those.
Sorry?
There's only a couple of those.
Oh, there's at least 3 that I can think of. There may be more.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Eric in Florida. There's Josh out in California.
I forgot about Eric. Okay. So
there's another fellow, and I'm Ham Radio 2.0. Is it Jason?
Yeah,
Jason. Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys are all more than 100,000 subs, and there may be others that I'm not thinking of.
Anyway,
So this is interesting. I remember Gilles, Radio Prepper, a few years ago. He put out a video asking for people to, I think, join his Patreon. Julian does the same. He's got a Patreon, so people can subscribe. Michael KB9VBR, he also has Patreon, and this is where people can subscribe to get exclusive videos for them. And I think they also they get to see early release of videos coming up on YouTube. That's not something I could do because I don't publish enough. If I was publishing once a week, then I might be able to consider that.
That's the other thing too. These guys pump out quite a bit of content.
Yeah. That's a key. That's a big key.
This is what
I think Walt's the same.
Content creation is kind of what I'm doing for a living kind of thing, and bless them. And Walt's kind of there too. I mean, he's doing videos, 1 and sometimes 2 a week, I think.
Yeah.
But then he disappears to overseas for a while too. You don't hear from him for a little while or anything. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, and the whole point of this was, I thought this was interesting.
Yeah, it is.
He's the first subscribed to YouTube channel that I've come across. There could be others. I don't know. So I signed up. It was like $3 a month or something like that.
Cool.
And I thought it was a good model. I don't know. Maybe that's something you might be interested in at some point too. I don't know. But then you're committed, right?
That's right.
That is the key. Yeah. I don't think I want that added because that's an added layer of.
And I think when you do that, I got to do this. Well, then your YouTube channel becomes a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And then it's like I need to put out a video, so I'm going to put out a video whether I have content or not.
Right. That's right.
And now I run the risk of putting out stuff which isn't really very good. I'm not saying anybody else does that. I'm just saying
that's a tough
way I would think.
that's a tough job. And I think again, Walt is kind of unique because he puts out a fair amount of content, but
Yeah.
it's all quality. Now he's got this format down, right? Where he comes in. I don't think he's got too many videos that are longer than like 15 or 20 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Am I right? And so I mean, I have to go do
No,
that.
I think you're right.
But it feels like there are these little, nuggets. Here's the antenna I'm working on. Here's the thing. Here's the da 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 da, and it's very crisp and done like that. Whereas I think some of your videos are upwards of 30, 45 minutes. Some of them.
Yeah, I've had a few like that. Yeah, once in a while I'll rattle one off.
Big productions. So
and of course, the longer the video, it's like for a 15-minute video to shoot it is at least an hour and a half, right? I mean, at least,
imagine,
right? To get 15 minutes of content just to shoot, you got to shoot like over an hour, and then you got to edit for another couple hours. So it's a lot of work. No question.
Hey, check out what Mike N2MAK has said. I'm still in my first year on YouTube, and it's surprising how much time and effort it takes to try and do a video a week. I'm having fun trying new things and learning, though.
Yeah, good.
Fantastic. And for those that can do that, and I don't know, maybe when I'm retired, I'll be able to invest that kind of energy into it. Hopefully, I have that kind of energy when I'm retired. But yeah, that's about what it's like. Okay, let's move along a little bit here. Tim, you found this one. This is a short.
I enjoyed this. I enjoy this for the simple fact that I get a lot of questions about mass and how do I put this up, and I know it's a dipole, I got to put up three sets, three attachment points and stuff like that. And this guy did a short on just putting up a little quickie mask. I mean, it's a short, right? So it's like 2-3 minutes long, and he goes in there and dink, and now he's got 20-foot mast or whatever he's doing to put up his antennas, which I thought was just a nice little tidbit.
Yeah. Oh,
did you get a chance to watch that one, or?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was intriguing. There's an old saying: there's 250 ways to wash the dishes.
Yes.
I like my PVC pole mount. I've got it. It's easy. It's fast. This is another way. I'm not sure I would use it, but I admire the ingenuity that's gone into it.
Yep.
Again, though, for someone that's a new ham that would want to get out and do this kind of thing and do this stuff, and there was a learning curve for me. I'm sure there was for the both of you as well. Whereas I have to go and figure this out and do a whole lot of stuff. And there might not have been a whole lot of things out there to say, hey, you might want to think about this direction or give you some ideas, something like that. And that was the point that I came across.
Oh, I agree with you 100%, Tim.
Because I hate mass. I hate poles. I hate all that. It's just more crap I have to carry. So just give me the bag and give me the line and give me a tree, and we're fine.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely. Hey, listen, we got some. Just going back to the whole making YouTube thing. We got some interesting comments here. So let's just go back. Scout75 says recording time is nothing. Editing is where all the time is spent. At least for me. Yeah, Scout75, you're absolutely right. The one exception that I would make to you is that I've got travel time in my case to get to where I'm going and then come back. Now, sometimes I'm able to, get that all rolled in with a family trip. So I'm there for another reason anyway. But if I'm going out by myself, like I did in October, well, that was a 3-hour drive one way and a 3-hour drive back home. And then the editing started. So completely with you on the editing.
But you don't go out there to play radio. You go camping and happen to bring your radio along.
Oh, no. So a trip like my October was all about the radio, 100% about the radio. Yeah, I'm camping. But I don't do anything else but radio when I'm there. I'm not hiking.
What I would add to that too is that, like, now that I've only done a couple of camping videos, but what I would say is, like, the shooting is like you still have to you're bringing your, like in your case, Trace, you use a separate camera and I use my phone, but you got to bring the gear to set that all up. You got to get the microphone set up. You got to get all your stuff set up. So it's like, and you're setting up your shots, you're setting up all the other stuff. So it's kind of like you're still kind of tinkering around with it adds to what you're doing. You're not just going out to play radio. You're going out to play radio, but you're bringing the camera along so you can journal it and that kind of thing. So he's
the survivor man of ham radio.
That's right.
I thought Julian was way up north where he is.
Yeah, but you had that vibe though, because I remember finding your channel and I'm like, okay, and this was 2000 whatever, right? 10 years ago almost. And it was like, yeah, okay, so that was the closest thing that I wanted to do is what you were doing, right? I just don't want to film it. And I don't want to take that time and do all of that stuff. It wasn't film editing and all that stuff is not a hobby of mine. It's not enjoyable for me. I'm happy to come on, be a semi-permanent guest on the show and talk about these things like that. But to produce content like that, oh geez, no. Which is why I had so much respect for you and your channel and the things Chris is doing. I can't do that.
Yeah, no, thank you, Chris. Chris makes an excellent point. There is definitely a time component to setting up the cameras, setting up the shot, having everything working. Hey, Kevin K0KLB, he knows a thing or two about making YouTube videos.
Yes.
He says, I make videos to entertain myself out here on the farm. Video editing is also my hobby. I just enjoy sharing the fun I'm having with everyone if they want to watch and ride along.
Perfect.
100%. And these days it really is, unless you are prepared to make it a full-time effort, it really is about having fun and enjoying what you're doing and just seeing where it all goes.
Yep.
And so congratulations to Kevin, because he's built something. He's built a real community around the stuff that he does. He's extended that fun out to the audience, and that's drawing a good amount of people back to him.
Yeah.
And he's getting that benefit, that creative benefit from engaging in the activity. So
like I say, listen, I have a lot of respect for the people who do this, and even though some people are doing it for content creation for a living, and other people want to have the subscriber model or something like that, which I thought was interesting to do that. I have a lot of respect for anybody who's willing to do that and take the time, because YouTube was my Elmer, I guess, for lack of a better word. I mean, I didn't have anybody that I was talking to when I first got into this or did everything. I had to either find stuff online that was related to what I was doing, or figure it out on my own, or through a book or something, which is the worst, actually.
Yeah. Hey, let's roll down here again. Excuse me. Mike N2MAK responding to Scout 75. He says, it doesn't take too long to shoot a little B-roll, but editing is time consuming. So you're right. Now, in my case, all I have to do is try to remember to shoot B-roll. That's like stuff that's sort of supplementary. It's not necessarily completely focused on what you're trying to do. So, but editing, oh yeah, when you've got all the, oh geez.
Hey, Survivor Man had his team do the B-roll. Remember that?
Yes. All right, and let me see. Rob came back. VE3PCP, I'm set up to live stream with a couple of mouse clicks, and I stream when I'm on my remote. I am net manager for the Soundbox Roundtable Net and do net control on Saturday evenings. I live stream that plus others. Oh, very cool. Thanks for your contribution to the hobby, Rob. All right, ham radio hobby. I had to put YouTube on the back burner for personal life this year, but excited to get back into it. We'll have to look for that channel, ham radio hobby.
Yep.
He continues, I made my YouTube to document my journey into ham radio in hopes as a new ham, the information I learned can be passed to another new ham.
Perfect.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Well done. One more from Rob. Also check our international YL and youth remote group, VA3YLR. 14 YLs, 4 young men. Holy cow, look at that ratio.
Told you.
They were the boys were thinking like Clint was when he got into the hobby.
What I got
from
I'm here for it.
Countries on 4 continents, many live streams from those operations. That's really cool, Rob. Okay, guys, there's what we got to wrap this thing up. It's been an hour. I'm losing my voice, but there is one more that I wanted to share that I thought was really creative, And that is, we'll come back into some of this later. Let me just see if I've got, okay. This one right here. So Rob earlier referred to Riza, who is a Russian ham with a YouTube channel. And she's into outdoor operations, although her channel has recently expanded into other directions. She came out with a YouTube video, Ham Radio versus Porsche. I would recommend everybody go check this out. It's a very short video. It's funny and it's very creative. And my hat's off to Raiza. Very well done. All right. Rob, I'm not far behind you. Thanks, guys. Bedtime for this old guy, 7-3. Thanks for chiming in, Rob, and adding to the content this evening. So I'm going to pull the plug right here, guys. It's definitely late for this cat who has to get up early in the morning. Let me see. Anything else coming in on the chat? I think I covered most of it here. Thanks to everybody who joined us, and Merry Christmas. And oh, look at this, Mike. Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Thanks to Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate it. Be safe. Hope our best wishes for healthy, happy, and just a really warm holiday season. And we'll look forward to touching base with you in the new year. Chris, any parting shots from you?
Same thing. Just wish everybody, like you said, whatever holiday you're celebrating, make sure it's a joyous one and a blessed one, and wish everybody a happy, safe, prosperous new year. And let's hope 24 is better than 23.
How about you, Tim?
Merry Christmas. That's an
Short and it is sweet. Okay.
Are you going to show your slide? Aren't you going to?
Which one? No.
No, not that one. No, the other one. You had another one with the wrap. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Yes.
Just don't go too fast.
Well, we're going to don't go too fast.
There it is. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
And there you go. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the tip on that. Goodbye, everybody. Until next month. We'll catch you up with you then. 7-3.